Okay, so core is something that I think we can all appreciate. And Santosha is we're doing Santosha as well, just as a theme. And Santosha is it's one of my favorites. It's contentment. It's recognizing that where you are is where you need to be right now. That doesn't mean you need to stay here. That's actually not fun at all. But it does mean accept everything that's gotten you here in the first place and be okay with where you are now. Because if you don't come at yourself from a place of love and acceptance, then it's going to be really hard to change, and it's going to be really hard to make yourself do things for you in a good way. So, all right, what do we got here? Core. Yeah, I know. I won't torture you. I just feel like we need to get extra in there. So, okay. So let's go ahead and come to our mats. Make sure you have blocks at the top of the mat. And then we're going to do a few things just to get heated up here, and then we will move along, work a little bit more on the side muscles as well. So take your feet about hips distance apart and roll your shoulders onto your back and stretch your fingers toward the ground, and then lift your chin up a little bit. Take some deep breaths and just check in. See how you feel. What has this week been like for your body? And breathe into it. All right, so we're going to take the arms up on the inhale. Grab your left wrist. Lift up, stretch to your right. And then bend the knees a little bit. Cross that left leg behind the right leg. Keep stretching to the right. Make sure you're breathing deeply. All right, come back to the center. Grab your right wrist with your left hand. Lift up tall and stretch over to your left-hand side. And bend the knees a little bit, get a little bit more stretch through the sides as you do that. Then you're gonna step behind with your right leg and keep stretching through that right side. All right, come on out of that and release the arms. Do a couple big shoulder rolls, both directions. And let's do sun salutation C. So take the arms up on the inhale, look up toward the thumbs. Exhale, fold. We're gonna do a lot of these. Inhale, stretch forward and look forward. Reach through the spine in both directions. Exhale, step your left leg back. And then take the arms up on the inhale. Drop the shoulders. Pull the belly in. Drag your left knee and your right heel toward each other. And take the hands down to the ground. Step back. Lift your left leg toward the sky. Take 5 breaths here. Relax your neck a little bit. Make sure the neck is long. Shake out your head, nod your head a tiny bit. And on your next exhale, bring your left knee up into your chest and step it forward. So we're going to go slowly at first, and we're going to start speeding this up. Take the arms up on the inhale. Drive to the midline. Drop your shoulders. And big exhale. Take the hands down to the ground. Step forward. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, right leg back. Drop your back knee. Take the arms up on the inhale. All right, this time, add a little bit more shoulder in here. Bring the hands to the back of the head. Press your head back into your hands and stretch your elbows out to the sides. And bring the hands down to the ground. Step back. Lift your right leg toward the sky. Take some breaths here. Big inhales, big exhales. Relax the neck a little bit. And lunge that right leg forward. Drop your back knee. Take it up on the inhale. Drag to the midline. Pull that belly in. And then take your hands behind your head again. Scoop up behind the head and lift the head up and press the head back, and then stretch your elbows out to the sides. All right, and hands down to the ground. Step your left leg forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, relax. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, arms to the sides. Let's do it again. Arms up on the inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step your left leg back. All right, interlace your fingers behind your back. Again, just low instead of high. Draw the shoulders down, look up. And release the hands to the ground, step back. Lift your left leg toward the sky. Open up the hip, and then bend the knee. Press the left heel toward your right hip. And keep trying to lift your left knee up so you're starting to feel your outer glutes do some of that lifting. Shoulders should remain level, so you want a little bit of a lift under that right armpit. And on your next exhale, bring that left knee forward. Step it forward. Interlace your fingers again. Open up your heart. Big breaths. And big exhale. Take the hands down the ground. Step your right leg forward. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, right leg back. Drop your back knee. All right, this time go for the non-dominant grip. Put the other thumb and first finger on top. Open up your heart. And take the hands to the ground. Step back. Lift your right leg toward the sky. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Shoulders level. And then see if you can lift that right knee up a little bit more so you start feeling that outer hip. And exhale. Take that right leg forward. Drop your back knee. Go for that non-dominant grip again. And take the hands down the ground. Step your left leg forward. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, arms to sides. All right, going a little bit faster. Arms up on the inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step your left leg back. All right, take the arms up on the inhale. And big exhale. Take the hands down the ground, step back. Lift your left leg toward the sky. We're going to come into a high lunge. Bring your left knee into your chest and step it forward and come into a high lunge. All right, so from here, drop your right knee 5 times slowly. So as you exhale, right knee drops. It just drops to where you can. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, drop again. Inhale up. 3 more. All right, let's come into warrior 3. So take your weight forward into your left leg. And then, just depending on where your arms need to be and how your shoulders feel, You may want to change up your arms, go arms out to the sides or back behind you or into your heart center, but you can also stay with your arms forward. All right, now we're gonna go to standing. So you're gonna bend that left knee a little bit and then inhale, come on up. Exhale, take your arms down to the sides. Take a big deep breath. And on your next inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step your right leg back. Drop your back knee. Take the arms up on the inhale. Exhale, hands to the ground, step back. Lift your right leg toward the sky. Big inhale. Exhale, lunge it forward, coming into a high lunge. So arms up. And then 5 little drops with the knee. Exhale, drop your left knee. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, drop. Inhale up. 3 more. All right, warrior 3. So take that weight forward. Again, any arms you want. And you might want a little bit of a micro bend behind the knee here, especially if you feel some tugging behind the knee and hamstrings. All right, we're coming to standing. Bend that right knee. Inhale, push into the ground and come on up. Exhale, hands into your heart center. Take a moment and just check in. All right, take the arms down to the sides. Arms up again on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step your left leg back. Drop your back knee. From here, take the arms up. And then we're gonna go for a side stretch. So your right hand can come down to a block if you'd like, or it can come down to the ground, or you can just kind of reach and not touch anything. So stretch to your right. All right, we're gonna go for a different stretch. So come back to the center, bring your hands down to the ground for a moment. You can also use your block. And you're gonna start turning your toes into the left corner of your mat and transferring weight into your right leg, and then turn your left toes up. So I'm squatting into my right leg, left leg is straight. And then try to bring your hands either into your heart center, or if your balance isn't so good, keep your block there in front of you. So keep breathing. You're gonna get a little bit more hamstring and groin stretch here. Big inhales, big exhales. My right heel does not come to the ground. Some people's heels do come to the ground. So it just really depends on you. And then you may want to get a little bit more stretch here by kind of walking your block or your hands forward. This is a little bit of a forward bend. You're going to feel a little bit more groin and inner thigh and hamstring stretch. Take about 2 more big breaths. All right, and then we're gonna walk it around to the front again. Step your right leg back, lift your left leg toward the sky, open up the hip and bend the knee. So that leg may feel a little bit more loose now. And then we're gonna try to flip our dogs. Lift your right heel up high, turn your toes to the left, bend your right leg a little bit, bring that left leg over as it is wont to do, and then look at that left hand. Your right hand is essentially, pretend it's like a screwdriver. It's trying to screw clockwise into the ground. That'll give you a little bit more stable shoulder. All right, flip it back over again. Lunge your left leg forward. Drop your back knee, and then you're gonna bring your hands to the inside of your left leg. And you may even want to bring your forearms to a block or forearms to the ground. So we're just getting a little bit more into the quadriceps, that inner groin on that left side should feel a little bit looser. But if it doesn't, this is going to work on it. Drag to the midline. Lift that back knee up and step your right leg forward. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, right leg back. Drop your back knee. Okay, same thing here. You may want to touch the ground or use your block. You're gonna take your right arm up and stretch over to your left-hand side. And drag to the midline with your left heel and right knee. All right, we're gonna start turning to the right. So you may want to bring your block with you. Turn your left toes toward the top right corner of your mat, and then get your weight into your left leg and turn your right toes up toward the sky. So again, left heel might drop a little bit, and then maybe walk your hands forward and get a little bit more of a forward bend. So keep that kneecap pointing up toward the sky. You even want to drag your heel in towards your left hip and left heel. All right, walk around back to the center, step back, lift your right leg toward the sky, open up the hip and bend the knee. And then let's try to flip our dog. Lift your left heel up high, turn your left toes to the right, bend your left leg a little bit, bring that right leg over, and then look at your right hand. Your left hand is going to screw counterclockwise into the ground. All right, and flip it back over again. Lunge that right leg forward. Bring your arms to the inside of your right arm, or right leg, and then possibly come down a little deeper if that seems appropriate. All right, and then let's come to standing. So lift that back knee up, step your left leg forward. Inhale, reach your heart forward. Exhale, come all the way up, and inhale. All right, so next one, take the arms up on the inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step your left leg back. Let's go for a twist. So left arm is up and over and stretch over to your right. Just start feeling a little bit looser now through that left side. Take that left arm to the outside of your right leg. Lift your rib cage up and twist it around a little bit. And then bring your hands together in your heart center. Lengthen your spine, flip your back toes over, and see if you can lift your back knee off the ground. If you can't, at least push into your left foot so that your left knee is not digging into the ground. And then you can extend your arms if you want to. Remember to breathe. All right, hands down the ground, step back. Lift your left leg up toward the sky, big inhale. Exhale, lunge your left leg forward. Drop your back knee. Take the arms up on the inhale. And exhale. Hands down to the ground, step your right leg forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step your right leg back. All right, let's go for the twist on this side. Take the right arm up and over and stretch over to your left. And take that right arm to the outside of your left leg. Lift your belly up, rib cage up, twist to your left. Bring your hands together. Look over your left shoulder. And then flip your back toes over so you can get that right knee at a minimum a little bit lighter. You might go for the straighter leg. You can also extend your arms. And release, step back. Lift your right leg toward the sky, big inhale. Exhale, bring it forward. Drop your back knee. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, hands down to the ground, step your left leg forward. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, take it to the sky. And then exhale, arms to sides. And just check in for a moment, see where you feel a little bit warmer, lighter. Hopefully the hips are starting to feel looser. All right, let's go for it again. Take the arms up on the inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step your left leg back. Drop your back knee. Take the arms up on the inhale. Exhale, hands to the ground. Step back. Lift your left leg toward the sky. All right, this is where we'd add in some of our crunches, some core here. So come forward, shoulders over the wrist, claw the ground. Bring the left knee toward the left arm. See if you can touch. Breathe. Now drop your left knee almost to the ground and then pull it back up again. Let's do 4 more of these. Exhale, drop. Inhale, pull in. Exhale, drop. Inhale, pull in. All right, extend back behind you. And exhale, come across to the right side. From here, just try to keep holding, but you could also try to extend out to the right and then bring that knee back in or that foot back in. And then extend the left foot out to the right and then bring it back in. And try a couple of these. You'll feel the outer left hip, so you'll know if you're kind of tight there. And then extend back behind you, big inhale, and lunge that left leg forward. And drop your back knee, interlace your fingers again, behind your back, open up your heart. All right, release the hands to the ground, lift your back knee up, and step your right leg forward. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, right leg back. Drop your back knee. Take the arms up on the inhale. And big exhale. Hands to the ground. Step back. Lift your right leg toward the sky. All right, let's go forward on this side as well. Claw the ground. Shoulder's going to come over the wrist. Right knee's going to try to touch the back of the right arm. Zip up your belly a little bit. All right, exhale, drop the knee a little bit. Inhale, pull it back up. Exhale, drop. Inhale, pull it back up. 3 more. All right, now cross that knee over, see if you can get it to your left arm. Hold it, and then see if you extend that right leg out to the left, and then pull it back in. And then extend, exhale, pull it back in. 3 more. Last one. And lengthen back behind you. Exhale, lunge it forward. Drop your back knee. Interlace your fingers, go for the non-dominant grip. Open up your heart. And release the hands to the ground. Lift your back knee up and step it forward. Inhale, stretch your heart forward. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, arms to the sides. All right, one more fast one. Take the arms up on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step your left leg back. Drop your back knee. Take the arms up on the inhale. Exhale, hands down, step back. Lift your left leg toward the sky. On your next exhale, bring it forward. Drop your back knee. Take the arms up on the inhale. Exhale, hands to the ground. Step your right leg forward. Inhale, lengthen your heart. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, right leg back. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, hands to the ground. Step your left leg back. Lift your right leg toward the sky. Big inhale. Exhale, lunge it forward. Drop your back knee. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, hands to the ground. Step your left leg forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, arms to the sides. So we're going to go for a forward bend. And it should feel looser just because we've been working on a lot of quads and hamstrings. So hands on your hips, lift your heart. Exhale, forward bend. Try to keep your spine long here. So if you are having trouble keeping your spine long and your shoulders on your back, bend your knees generously. And then you're going to bring your fingers down and see if you can grab your big toes. So again, lift your chest, lift your chin. If your elbows are bending, bend them out to the sides. Inhale, lengthen your tailbone back behind you and your heart forward. And exhale, relax. Keep breathing. All right, we're gonna go a little deeper here. In this next one, imagine that your rib cage and your thighs are super glued together. So bend the knees as much as you need to make sure that your rib cage and thighs are touching. Then you're gonna take your hands around the back and you can either press forward into the calves with your hands. If you're a little bit more flexible, you can come down and put your fingers on the ground and press your heels down into the fingers. So I'm essentially cupping my heels with my hands. That's if you're a little bit more flexible. You're going to squeeze in with your arms, keep your belly attached to your thighs, and then inhale, lengthen your heart forward and possibly straighten up your legs a little bit, but don't straighten your legs if your belly comes away from your thighs. So as you inhale, straighten a little bit, exhale, relax and bend your knees. Inhale, straighten, keep the belly and thighs touching. Exhale, relax. So it may not be a huge straightening, it may just be a ½ inch, but that's fine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, relax. Hug in with the arms, squeeze in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, relax. Do 2 more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, relax. 1 more. All right, release the hands, take the hands to the hips, squeeze the elbows toward the sky, bend the knees. Big inhale, come all the way up. And take the arms down to the sides. And just take a moment here, take some big deep breaths, just in case you came up too fast and you're a little bit dizzy. All right, let's do 1 more little flow here. Take the arms up on the inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step back. Press forward, lower down halfway. Tops the feet, inhale, draw the shoulders down your back. Exhale, downward dog. Lunge your right leg forward. So you're gonna come into warrior 1. Big inhale here. Press into the outer edge of your back foot, zip up your belly. Your hip points tend to kind of drop here. So see if you can lift your front hip points up a little bit so your tailbone stretches down a little bit more. All right, now bring the hands down to the ground. So this is again where a block can be handy if you're feeling kind of tight. You put your hands on the block. See if you can slide your left foot back a little bit more so you're putting some more space between the feet. And then walk your hands or your block over to the left corner. So we're gonna stretch out nice and long. Keep dragging your right foot and your left foot toward each other. So pull toward the midline as if you're trying to make like a little bubble here in the mat. Tack your right hip, your outer right hip back around towards your inner left thigh, but keep stretching your spine forward. So sliding forward a little bit. All right, a little bit more into the hips. Walk it back to the center. Plant your left hand on the ground below your left shoulder, or you can also plant on the block. You're gonna walk your right foot off the mat to about 9 o'clock, and that left foot's gonna come to the pinky edge of the left foot. You're gonna take your right arm toward the sky. So big breaths, lift your bottom hip up into your top hip. We're gonna add in some back bend. Bring your right hand to the back of your head and push your head back into your right hand. So you got a little bit of a back bend as you're also doing some core and lifting that left hip up. All right, and bring your hand to the ground, step your right leg back, walk it out a little bit. Let's go for the other side. Lunge that left leg forward, drop your back heel, come into warrior one. Press into the outer edge of your back foot. Make sure your front knee's right over the ankle, so you should be able to see your big toe, maybe the toe next to it when you look down. See if you can pull your front hip points up a little bit so your tailbone stretches down a little bit more. It's more of an engagement of the low belly, honestly. Big breaths, drop your shoulders. All right, and then take the hands down, and you're going to slide that block or hands over to the right corner of your mat. Pull your feet toward each other, and then really stretch out your spine. And then wrap your left glutes around towards your inner right thigh. All right, walk back to the center, plant that right hand on a block or just under your right shoulder. Walk your left foot off the mat to about 9 o'clock. Come to the pinky edge of your right foot and take your left arm toward the sky. So bottom hip lifts up into the top hip, left foot pushes down into the ground, and then bring your left hand behind your head and press your head back into your hand. So you got a little bit of a back bend happening. All right, left hand back down the ground, step back, walk it out. Lunge your right leg forward. Come into warrior one, big inhale, and then open up for warrior two. All right, so once you're in warrior two, make sure this right knee is right over the ankle. You should be able to see your big toe when you look down. Drop your shoulders. And then let's add in a little bit more of the arms. You're going to pull your hands back toward your fingers back toward your face and press out through the heels of your hands like you're pushing two walls away from you. And then keep dropping your shoulders. Find that ujjayi breath, nice deep breaths, a little bit of a hissing sound in the throat. Turn the palm of the right hand up toward the sky. Come into exalted warrior. That right knee starts to straighten up here, so make sure that right knee stays nice and bent over the ankle. Look up towards your right hand, your drishti or your focal point. All right, now start straightening up the front leg so it's a reverse triangle or an exalted triangle. All right, big inhale, come on up. And then we'll go for a regular triangle. Reach to the right-hand side, bring that right hand down to the leg. Look over your left shoulder towards your left thumb. Push down through your back heel. That right knee really likes to roll in toward the big toe, so tack your outer right hip back a little bit so your right knee lines up with your middle three toes. Just make sure it's not rolling in. All right, left hand to the hip, bend your front knee. Inhale, come on up. Turn your right toes forward. Outer edges of the feet are parallel to the short edges of the mat. Lift your heart on the inhale, and then exhale, forward bend. So hands can come down to the ground. If you feel more comfortable and stable with your hands on your legs, you can go there. If you can grab your big toes, you can go there as well. So you have a couple of options. Roll your shoulders onto your back. Squeeze your legs into the midline. Make sure you have some weight in the inner heels. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, relax. Keep lifting your kneecaps as well, so tighten up the fronts of the thighs. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, relax. All right, bend the knees, bring the hands to the hips, squeeze the elbows toward the sky, big inhale, come all the way up. All right, so we're gonna kind of pull an Ashtanga move. We're gonna turn to the left and come into warrior one this way. So right toes pointing to the top corner of your mat, left knee over the ankle. Take the arms up, lift your front hip bones, your front hip points. Drop your shoulders and look up. So you're in warrior one here. We're gonna come back to warrior two in a second. All right, open up for warrior two. Left knee over the left ankle. You should be able to see your big toe and second toe possibly when you look down. Look straight down your middle left finger. This time, turn the palms of the hands up toward the sky so you can wrap those triceps around your upper arms. Drop your shoulders. All right, exalted warrior. Right hand to the right thigh. Look up toward the left hand. Make sure that left knee stays bent. All right, start straightening up that front leg. So, a little reverse triangle here. Keep lifting your heart and looking up toward that left hand. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit of obliques around that left hip there. All right, on your next inhale, come up with your torso and then go for a regular triangle. Reach to the left-hand side, hand down to the leg somewhere, take your right arm toward the sky. This space on the left side is trying to lengthen. So that right arm, imagine your right arm's pulling up that left rib cage and see if you can take some space, put some space between your left hip crease and your left rib cage. Really use the left side here. Press down through the back heel, roll your left knee toward the middle toe. So turn your left knee out to the left a little bit more. All right, bend that front knee. Inhale, come on up, bring your hands to your hips, turn your left toes forward. All right, so some people can go for arms behind the back and grab their hands. If you've got tight shoulders, you're gonna pull a fist around. So either right arm up and over, left thumb down, grab your hands behind your back, or if you can't do that comfortably, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your left thumb down, bring it around, you're gonna grab your left hand and pull it around and make a fist on your right side. Zip up your belly. Lift your heart, lift your chin, and then exhale, forward bend. Squeeze into the midline with your legs. Make sure you have some weight in your inner heels. And also make sure that you're not sinking back in your back heels. So if you are sinking back in your back heels, you're putting a lot of pressure in some of your ligaments and tendons around your knees and even in the backs of the hips. So put some weight in the fronts of the heels. Take it out of the back of the heels. All right, bend the knees, inhale, come on up. Let's go for the other side. So either left arm up and over and you're grabbing your hands behind your back, or you're gonna bring your right arm around, grab your fist, make a fist, and bring that fist over to the left side. And then shoulders on your back, zip up your belly, squeeze your legs together, and then forward bend again. Bring your weight out of your back heels into your front heels. Lift your kneecaps. All right, and then inhale, come on up and bring your hands to your hips and then toe heel in and step up to the front of your mat. All right, take the arms up on the inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. And we're gonna do a little arm balance here. So I'm gonna give you Bakasana, but I'm gonna also give you the side crow variation. So claw the ground, bend your elbows. See if you can bring your shins to the backs of your arms. If you can't come to the backs of your arms, you're gonna squeeze in from the outside and squeeze your arms out into your legs. Another little variation here is sometimes just to get the hips to lift a little bit, you can come up onto a block. So I will demonstrate that in case that seems like a good idea. So you can perch on the block, lift your chin. Super important to lift your chin. If your chin doesn't lift, then you will face plant because you're not using enough upper back muscle. So play with that one. If you want to add in a little twist, this is a fun one. Same thing, you just twist. So you take the block out to the right. If you want to use your block, stretch to your right. We've been practicing this a lot. Take your left elbow to the outside of the right leg, and then your hands can point any direction you want as long as they're shoulder distance apart. Same posture, your leg is on the back of your left arm this time. And then you see if you can get your feet off the ground. So take breaks if you want to. And if you want to try for the twisty ones, take a moment, just see how that works. Twist, right arm to the outside of the left leg. Again, hands shoulder distance apart. That's the most important. Keep your chin up, belly in. Take a couple more deep breaths. If you're going for the sides, try both sides. If you're still working on just trying to get some weight into your hands and get your fingers stronger, that's excellent. A lot of people, that's what they do, is they take time just trying to get the hands and wrists stronger. So you may not be going into anything that's like super cool looking right now. All right, so from here, let's do a forward bend. Take a moment and grab your elbows and press your top forearm into your bottom forearm. And just breathe, relax, zip up your belly. All right, take the hands to the hips, bend the knees, inhale, come on up. We're gonna do one more standing posture or balancing posture, which is going to work a little bit of psoas, but also the belly area. So you're gonna take your leg forward, out to the side, back to the front again. We'll add in a twist. You can decide how much leg you want to extend. So if your balance is a little off or you just don't have the flexibility or strength yet, you can just go for a bent leg variation here. This is fine. You're still working belly and even psoas. You're working a lot of strengthening stuff, ankle. If you want to go for a little bit more of an extension, you can grab your big toe and you can also use your strap. So any of these is fantastic. It just depends on how much work you're trying to make this left leg do. So as you extend more, the left leg works more. So you press that left thigh back into the thigh bone and you'll start feeling your left hips muscles doing some work. They'll start working harder as you move your leg out to the side. So don't forget to breathe. I'm gonna go ahead and face forward here. So again, bent knee or straight leg, strap or no strap, your choice. And then press your left thigh back. Don't forget to breathe. Pull your right arm back into your shoulder socket. Try not to get dislocated there. It's very easy to do. Your right arm is actually, your arms are actually sort of built to slightly dislocate, so they'll do it automatically. You have to really use your muscles to pull them back in. And then take your knee or your leg out to the right. So you'll start feeling this outer left hip working a little harder to stabilize you. And don't forget to breathe. I just realized I match my walls. It's kind of creepy. All right. Beautiful. Last big breath. All right, bring that leg back to the front. You're gonna switch hands on your knee or your strap or your foot. So use your left hand, take your right arm behind you. You can tell this is kind of going into a twist, right? So keep breathing, keep pressing your left thigh back. This might be enough right here, but if your balance is feeling good, look over your right shoulder slowly. All right, come back to the center, and then what you're gonna do here is bring your hands to your hips and try to extend your leg. So even if your leg was bent before, try to extend it now. See if you can get it roughly parallel to the ground. And your left hip's gonna work really hard. You also get a little bit of psoas work in your right hip. That's the front of your hip there. And your belly's gonna work really hard. Keep lifting your chest. Nice, 2 more breaths. All right, let it go. Nice job. All right, let's go for the other side. So spread your toes out on your right foot. You may want to walk it out a little bit. And then same thing here. Grab the front of your shin if you're going for the shin. Use your strap if you'd like to. Grab your big toe. Whatever you do, make sure that arm bone pulls into your shoulder socket so you're actively pulling it in. Press your right thigh muscle against your right thigh bone, your femur. Keep breathing. All right, you're going to take that knee or leg out to the left. You'll start feeling that outer right hip a little bit more. You might want to look over your right shoulder. All right, bring that leg back to the front. Bring your right hand to your knee or your strap or your foot. Extend that left arm back behind you. So you're getting a little bit more of a hip opener. Don't forget to breathe. And also look over your left shoulder if it feels appropriate. All right, and then come on out of that one and extend your left leg. 5 breaths. All right, and then release. Nice work. Let's come down into a pigeon. Take the arms up on the inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Find your pigeon on your back or on your front. So right leg is going to cross over. Right knee is a little bit wider than your right shoulder. Right ankle is straight. And then find your pigeon. Big breaths. So remember that Ujjayi breath. You're tightening up your glottis muscles a little bit in your throat. So it's almost like you're saying ha, but with your mouth closed. And that'll get that nice tightness in the throat that gives you that little bit of hissing, and it basically sucks the air in deeper and faster and gets rid of the carbon dioxide deeper and faster as well. All right, let's go for a little bit of a twist. So if you're on your front side, you're going to place your left forearm in front of you, right hand out to the side, lengthen and twist. You can go a little bit deeper. You can place that block under your head and bring your left shoulder to the ground. I like to make a fist with my left hand and then place my right hand flat on my fist and push. If you're on your back, you have a couple great options as well. So I'll demonstrate. If you're on your back doing your pigeon here, you can go for a gentle twist by dropping your right foot flat to the ground, which is great. If you want to go for something a little bit deeper, you can slide your thighs closer together and drop your knees. And you can even possibly wrap your right foot around the back of your left calf and drop your knees to the left. So you got more and more options as you feel comfortable on your back. So take about 2 to 3 more big breaths in your twist. All right, and then come on out of it. And we're going to come into a double pigeon before we go to the other side. So you're going to, if you're on your front side, you'll just swing that left leg over, bring your left ankle on top of your right knee. If you're on your back, you're going to have to take a moment to get up. And then it'll be right leg under, left leg over. You may want to take a moment, just kind of grab your butt, pull the flesh of your buttocks out of the way, kind of widen everything. And then nice deep breaths here. So you may want to put your foot on a block in front. If your knee's popping up, it's okay. You're just trying to roughly get sort of a squared off position here. And then maybe a forward bend. So a lot of people are super tight in the hips. Their forward bend is sitting up tall. If that's the case, stay there. Don't try to force it. Be happy. Have that Santosha, right? That contentment with where you are right now. Recognizing that where you are now is excellent and that you can continue to work toward a goal, but sometimes that really is baby steps. Take about 2 more Ujjayi breaths. All right, and then come out of that and either do a happy baby dead bug or a downward dog, whichever one feels most appropriate for you. So take that moment, and then we're gonna do our pigeon on our other side. So let's go for it. Left leg crosses over. Again, you can be on your back or front. Take some time here breathing. Big inhales, big exhales. Find that hissing sound in your breath. One of the fantastic things about Ujjayi breath is, yeah, it's a little bit loud, but the hissing sound, what's happening is you're actually keeping heat inside your body. So especially when we come down to the ground and we're sort of not moving as fast and not being quite as athletic and warm, the Ujjayi breath will keep a lot of that heat in the body and keep you warm so you don't cool down too much. All right, add in the twist. So right forearm in front if you're on your front side, drop your legs to the right if you're on your back side, look over your left shoulder. You can always go deeper. All right, and then take a moment to come into double pigeon. So if you're on your back, take a moment to come to seated. Otherwise, you're going to swing that right, or like around, cross that right ankle just above the left thigh, and then maybe pull your hips out a little bit so you can get them a little wider on the ground, a little bit more planted, and then press out through the balls of the feet, press in through the hands, possibly a bit of a forward bend here. All right, and then come on up. Okay, so next, Baddha Konasana. We're about to get into the core, but I want to make sure the inner thighs are really happy with us. So bring the bottoms of the feet together, open up the feet like a little book, and then bring your forehead towards your toes. So you're rounding your back. The whole point of this particular variation is just to get the connective tissue in your back, your fascia, to stretch out. So see if you can bring your forehead towards your toes, and you can swing gently from side to side. All right. Next, grab your big toes with your first two fingers. Sink back a little bit, rock back a little bit, and then see if you can get your heels off the ground. So I'm balancing just past my tailbone and my heels are off the ground. And then what you're going to try to do is extend your legs. So if you're a little bit tight, your legs are going to stay bent. The goal here is to pull the arm bones into your shoulder sockets and lift your chest so that you're not collapsing through the spine. So if you're starting to feel pretty comfortable here, you can start straightening the legs a little bit more, but don't feel like you have to go super straight. So big inhales, big exhales. And then we're going to try to release the feet and keep the feet at roughly the same height. So zip up your belly, lift your heart, and then see if you can let go of your feet and see if your feet will stay put. All right, bring your feet back in. Open up the feet like a little book again. Sit up super tall so your spine is long. Roll your shoulders onto your back. And then this, for a lot of people, is a hugely tight posture. So if this is where you are and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so much work to get my chest up and my spine long, stay here. If it's not a lot of work, you're going to hinge at the hips. And I'll show this from the side. You want to make sure that you're not rounding your back this time. So back is long and flat. And you're going to lift and lead with your chest and make sure that you're hinging at the hips. But my chest is still reaching forward so that my back stays nice and long and I'm not collapsing like this. Shoulders roll onto the back. And then wherever you go is fine because you're going to feel more in your outer hips and inner hips as inner groin as you come down. So once you start feeling something happening on both sides of the hips, perfect. If you're feeling like it's more lower back, try to lift your chest more. Zip up your belly a little bit more. Okay, and let's go ahead and do some boat. But we're going to do some boat with some blocks. So you can either squeeze your block with your ankles or your thighs. Either one's fine. We just want to make sure we've got some inner thigh working here. That'll help the belly a lot. So squeeze with your ankles, or you can go kind of skinnier with the block and squeeze with your inner thighs, whatever works. And then this is just kind of a prop to keep us balanced and aligned. So you got your boat here. Try to keep your back long and your chest up just like before. And then squeeze in with your midline. Keep breathing. Then we're going to do a little bit of a twist and see if we can take the block to the outside of the legs. The legs are still squeezing in, and essentially you're trying to get your left elbow to the right knee or to the outside of the right knee. And just remember to breathe here. And you can extend that right arm behind you if you want. That's kind of fun. Especially if you got tight shoulders, kind of gives you an idea of what you need to work on through the back of the rotator cuff in front of the rotator cuff. All right, come back to the center. And let's go to the left. So right elbow somewhere near the outside of the left knee. Nice big breathing here. Squeeze your legs into the midline, and then possibly take that left arm behind you. All right, let's take a little break. Cross your ankles and lean forward and walk your hands forward. All right, we're gonna do this one more time. You might want to straighten your legs or you may want to stay with bent legs. So again, that's your choice. Straighten legs is a little bit tougher. So you're gonna squeeze with your inner thighs or squeeze with your ankles. Maybe go for straight legs and then twist to your right again and see if you can get that left elbow somewhere near your right leg. You can also do that nice extension if you want to with that right arm behind you. Big Ujjayi breaths. All right, come back to the center, switch to the other side. Maybe extend that left arm behind you. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze into the midline. All right, and coming out of it, cross your ankles again, put the other ankle in front this time, and then we'll walk it forward one more time. All right, let's do a reverse plank. So you're gonna put one block under your upper shoulders and one block under your heels. Once you've got the block under your upper shoulders, make sure your kneecaps are pointing up and your toes are pointing up. Then you're gonna take your hands behind your head like a hammock. Hook up under your head and then lift your knees up and go for 20 breaths here. Stretch out your body, get really long. Last 2 breaths. All right, release, roll off your blocks. Take a moment and remove that block that's up near your shoulders and then lie on your back for a moment. And you can walk your feet up and walk your feet out to the sides of your mat and then drop your knees in toward each other. So just in case your low back got a little bit too involved in any of that core stuff, this will help relax your low back and put it into a nice curve again. Deep breaths. All right, let's get into a couple back bends, but just make sure those psoases are nice and stretched out because we did tighten them a little earlier with that standing posture. So from here, feet are on the edges of your mat. You're going to drop your knees over to the right and then take that right ankle and place it on top of your left thigh near the knee. And just take some nice deep breaths here. So if that feels like it's too much, if you're putting your right foot on your left thigh, you can just drop your knees to the right. That's just a little extra, putting your right foot on top of your left thigh. So breathe into it. See how that feels. It's a little bit of psoas stretch, but it's also some of that outer hip sartorial muscle. All right, remove that right foot, bring it to the outside of your mat again. Drop your knees over to the left-hand side like windshield wipers, and then if you'd like, place that left ankle on top of your right thigh near the knee. I find this posture to be really helpful if you have any SI joint issues. So if you tend to have kind of hip pain every once in a while or low back pain or like pelvic pain, this tends to help me get my SI joint back into alignment. There are a couple of other really good ones as well, but this is pretty straightforward. All right, and remove that left foot and point it back up toward the sky. Okay, so last little bit here, we're going to go for a back bend. So if you want to go for a pretty shallow back bend, go for bridge. If you want to slowly move it into something bigger like wheel, you can certainly do that, but I would do that on the second try. So reach down, make sure you can at least touch your heels one at a time. You might want to grab your mat on either side and roll your shoulders underneath you and then push your feet into the ground and lift up into a bridge. Gently press the back of your head into the ground. So this is great. If you're feeling any burning sensation, any heat happening in your thighs, that is exactly what you should be feeling. These quadricep muscles should be doing a lot of work. And notice where your feet are as well. So you may be, your feet may be kind of rolling to the outside of the foot, the outer heel, outer foot. So if that's the case, press down a little bit more firmly through your inner heel and big toe ball joint. So you get a little bit more inner thigh work happening. You can also use a block and squeeze a block between your thighs. So hang out here for another couple breaths. All right, and then go ahead and relax and come down. And then you can do this again, and you can make it a little bit tougher by lifting a leg and then the other leg, or you can go into a bigger back bend. So we've done quite a few shoulder openers throughout this practice. You may feel like a back bend is appropriate. You can also, if you're close to a wall, put your blocks up against a wall and have that 45-degree angle, or you can put your hands up on the blocks there. So if that's the case, if you want to use your blocks that way, you can. Otherwise, we're just going to come into a back bend. So bridge or wheel or supported wheel with blocks against the wall. Push down into the ground. Find your bridge first. See if you can get to the top of your head. Pull your elbows in. And then eventually you're going to come up someday. Don't forget to breathe. Press into those inner heels. All right, come on down. Extend your left leg. Grab the back of your right thigh or the back of your right calf or your foot. You can also put a strap around your foot. Press your left heel toward the ground and your left thigh toward the ground and gently pull your right leg in toward you. So anytime you do back bends, your hamstrings get a little tightened up, so we're just loosening up the hamstring again. And then you can bring your head and shoulders up and bow toward your right leg. And again, a strap is fantastic. So if you're not quite as flexible as I am and you're here, this is a great place to hang out. All right, other side. Take your left leg up. Grab the back of the thigh or calf or foot or put your strap around your foot. Press your right heel and right thigh toward the ground. Pull that left leg in. Keep pressing your right heel and right thigh toward the ground. And then lift your head and shoulders up and see if you can bring your belly towards your thigh. All right, let that go. And then last little bit here, we're going to either rest in Shavasana. Shavasana can be a wonderful, comfortable posture for a lot of people, but not everybody can relax in Shavasana for a number of reasons. So if that is the case and you'd like to get a little bit of inversion in, you can put your hips on a block and you can either take your legs straight up or you can even rest your feet up against a wall. So take some nice big breaths here. If you are dying for more back bend, which I always am, I have super tight shoulders compared to everything else. If you'd like a little bit more back bend, then take your first block under your shoulders, high on the shoulders, and then your second block under your head. And then hands out to the sides, palms up. And then slow down your breath. Roll your eyes in toward the midline, where your eyes and nose meet. Find that Santosha, that contentment with where you are. Recognize that where you are now is a result of the actions and decisions you have made up until now, which includes the practice that you just had. And as always, I invite you to stay in your Shavasana longer if you can. But if you have to get moving, start wiggling your fingers and toes. Stretch out through your arms and legs. Take a big inhale and stretch it out. And a big exhale and relax. One more time, maybe hold it for 5 counts. Relax. Again, if you can stay here, do, but if you need to come to a seated posture, take your time coming into the seated posture. Bring your hands into your heart center, physically or mentally. And then come back to that Santosha, recognizing that you are here and being happy with where you are. Not complacent, but happy is super, super important. And recognizing that little baby steps are what move you to the next place. And that's where that tapas discipline comes in. Bring your hands up to your forehead for kind thoughts, down to your lips for kind words, and down to your heart center for kind intentions. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.